So in this video here, you're going to hear me talk about bonus content, and really the deal with that is that on the previous video, I was going to tack this on to the end so you could see the whole story, and that would have made it really, really long. So that's why you're hearing bonus content, and that's why it might seem a little weird, but it's just another separate video follow-up to this, and you'll be able to see how everything went. Enjoy. Hey, we're back with a little bit of bonus footage for you here. I did go and work through a lot of these slits here. I went and got a razor blade, and the razor blade fits just perfect in here, no problems. But I can definitely see, like, you get right here, and that's a piece of lead that's stuck in between, and I'll have to work work that out of there. And I'm not gonna, like I said before, I'm not gonna really try to bore you with doing that. But I can definitely see where someone has spilled lead in here before, and I was able to push through a bunch of it, especially right underneath here where the generator sits, and the generator comes out super easy. It is a very it's a completely different design than anything else I've seen Coleman use, but it's really pretty cool. Well, first of all, the gas tip on this, I don't think you can see close enough in there, but it is simply a monstrous hole. Usually you've got the little prick in, you can barely even see the hole. Well, this one is like, it's quite visible from a long way away. I haven't taken it apart, but I can hear the spring rattling around inside of there. So it seems to be pretty loose. But really the only thing it holds it in is just a connection like this. And it's not much of a connection. It just basically seats into this brass seat here. So to put your generator in, you basically set that in there until it sits in, tighten the set screw, and you're done. I mean, obviously you got to put some wrench on it, but that's how the generator is changed out. It's like super easy to do. So really kind of a neat design. What I may actually do here real quick is just take this gas tip off and see what we've got inside. So let's see if that comes off easy enough for us or not. It's not going to come off really easy, so I'm not gonna work too hard at that because it is running fine, and since I can hear parts moving around inside, I know it's pretty free and clear. What I am doing though is I'm pulling this off here, and I was kind of in the process of doing that. I'll say, you know, y'all might want to see exactly how this works. So I'm pulling this top piece off so I can check for any kind of spider webs and stuff like that, because we were getting so much yellow flame out of there, and which always leads me to believe that there's some sort of an obstruction in the in this system here. So hopefully this gasket won't completely disintegrate, and it is not, so that's good. Well, it's kind of partially disintegrated but there's a there's a fair bit of lead that's in there, but I don't see any obstructions. There is this little thing that was in the way that was used as a they've got it really tight, so it's hard to move. But maybe if I kind of wiggle it around a little bit, I can move it more out of the way. Yeah, like that, to get enough air in. And yeah, this looks to be just fine. There's nothing in the way, so I'm going to go ahead and just set this back in here and hope that the gasket will line up enough for that to work, which it probably will, and because it still has a little bit of resiliency to it. I probably should, no, I'm not going to do that. I was going to put a little bit of oil on here, but this is going to get so hot, all it's going to do is smoke and smell bad, so I'm not going to waste my time with that. But all these screws came out really easy, so that was kind of nice. And then what we're going to do here is that we're going to fire it up again. And I did notice that it did drop maybe a little bit of pressure. I don't know if that's because of temperature change or the fact that I probably need a new fuel cap gasket, because it does seem like it's a little bit hard. So so I'll have to look into sourcing one of those. But we'll get this tightened up here shortly and see if we don't have a little better luck with the yellow flames and and it'll get a little bit more even burning on the burner. I don't want to really reef down on these too hard because it is a cast iron item, and I think that's probably just fine. I'll just stop there and then reinstall the generator, which of course, like I said, super simple. Set it in there, set it in there, do this, and crank this down a little bit. I got some pressure in here. My air compressor just dumped itself, so we're going to probably try this with a little less than what we should have, but we'll see how this works. So we'll open the quick light valve, have the fire at the ready, open this. I think we're already looking a little bit better, although it is quite yellow. Oh yeah, this is definitely looking a lot better than it was before. Open this up. It's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna now open this all the way, which will give us full fuel flow. Still a lot of yellow. Let that generator catch up some. It's looking better. We're definitely getting a lot more flame right underneath the generator for sure. And I think these things just take a while to preheat. Although I did see someone else light one, and it was just like instantly perfect almost the second they started it. But you can definitely see in here where there's some areas where there's still some blockage in here, and that's where there's not a whole lot of flame coming out. In fact, I'll take this around here so you can see it. But like right here, you can see there's two gaps. Like we'll point out with this, you don't put my finger in there, but these two gaps right there, those are it's blocked with lead, and so that's why that looks like that. So this is looking pretty good, even with our pressure running pretty low. Let's see what you do with this. Yeah, there's a lot of carbon that's wanting to come out. Lots of carbon. So you can do this with a regular stove generator too. You just tap it and it knocks all that carbon loose. And when it stops doing the orange flames and sparks, you know you're probably in pretty good shape. But yeah, it's still blowing out a lot. But yeah, so this is wide open, but I just don't have enough air pressure in here, and I don't have another pump to manually pump it. But it's looking pretty good. So that was just basically kind of working on it with the razor blade, clearing all that out. I'm definitely getting underneath the generator, so it's getting good heat underneath there, so we can kind of keep up. And then, of course, I moved this little damper out of the way so we can also get more air. And yeah, it's still not running perfect. I mean, we shouldn't see any yellow flame at all, but I think a lot of that looks like carbon. I mean, because every time I tap it, that's just like clouds of carbon being released. So I'll have to look at maybe pulling the generator apart and see how that works. But that's the bonus footage. She's looking pretty good. And we'll just, you know, some things like this sometimes, and I've said this before, sometimes just letting them run really helps them clear themselves out. And yeah, I mean, even you can tell now when I'm tapping and I'm not getting as much of a response as I did before. So it's already kind of cleaning up a little bit, so that's good stuff. But yeah, just wanted to show you what we got here and how it's looking and how it's working, and we'll see how it goes. I really want to, I really wish I could put some more air in here. Tell you what, we're going to do a little cut while I kick the air compressor on, and we'll come back because it's going to be noisy, and then we'll see how she runs. So back in just a sec. Okay, we are back. Let me, I'm going to turn this way down because when I put pressure to this, it's going to go it's really going to go to town. So let me get this thing spun around so I can do all this. Just flip this over here. That was really quick and singed my knuckles just by going over it. This thing makes a lot of heat. Okay, so that's back up to about 25 pounds or so. The gauge is sticking, so I might have to take that apart. Well, let's see what happens now. Oh my God, that's a lot of carbon. That's full on, and I gotta watch the light overhead because it is really, really hot. That's a lot of carbon, so that's not a problem of it running rich. That's all that carbon that's getting baked out of there when this comes on. And I can kind of see I got a little bit of work to do still on some of these slots. They're not quite all the way open yet, and we may actually be running out of fuel right now because it's kind of pulsing a little bit. But okay, so that's with the full load of pressure in there, and it seems to be doing pretty good. Once we get the carbon cleared out of here, we shouldn't have anywhere near as much of this carbony stuff coming out, but all the sparks and stuff I can see shooting out of there, there's a lot that's coming out. So this one would probably do well just to get run and go with it that way, especially maybe putting some of the what is that? This not necessarily seafoam, but the Berryman's. That stuff works really good. I don't know where my bottle went, but anyway, it's around here somewhere. So that is it for this little quick add-on to the end here. Maybe not as quick. It's maybe another 10 minutes, but yeah, there she goes. She's really running pretty good now, and we'll see how she goes in future videos when we do stuff. Well, that is it. So until next time, keep them lit.